Hey, man, we did it. We got Gingerbread
Wait, yeah, I was
Village.
about to say, hold on, Kyle, you can't have a Christmas episode without a gingerbread village.
So is this going to be like a tutorial of how to make these?
I don't know. Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, I'm Robbie. This is Kyle. Kyle, happy holidays and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
How are your holidays going so far?
Pretty solid. No, I had a great time hanging out with my family this year. It's been amazing. I can't. It's just gone so fast. Everything happened at the blink of an eye. I feel like.
Yeah, certainly. And speaking of things going by in the blink of an eye, we are in the final days, folks, of 2019, and not only in this case does that mean the end of 1 year, moving full steam ahead into a new year, but it also means that we are coming to the end of a decade, folks. Right? We are ending the 2010s and going full steam ahead into the 2020s, and it's pretty crazy to think that already 10 years has gone by just like that. I mean, when this decade started in 2010, we were sophomores in college, and
wow,
like that's crazy to think that that's crazy to think it's already been 10 years since we were sophomores in college.
Yeah, that was
crazy to think it's been like over 10 years since we were in high school.
Unbelievable. Just went so fast.
I know. Not much more you can say than
yeah.
that. Yeah.
I don't know what else to say about that.
But we wanted to do, which we thought would be really fun, was sort of put a personal sports-related cap on the decade that was. So we've compiled sort of our top, or we've really thought about, and we've compiled each of ours top 5 personal sports memories from 2010 through 2019, because there were a lot of things that happened to us personally, sports-wise, in the last decade. Whether it was games that we watched, games that we participated in, events that we participated in, whatever the case may be. So we sort of took all that and sort of trimmed it down to the top 5 moments for each of us in the last sports decade, or in the last decade, I should say, sports related in the last decade. So I guess I'll go first, if that's okay with you.
Go ahead.
And so, just got to pull up here. So these are in no particular order. These are just sort of my top 5 here. Again, no particular order. My first one is a game that I was really lucky that I got to be at, and that was the David Ortiz Grand Slam game in 2013, American League Championship Series, Game 2. The Red Sox, I was at the game with my dad, and the Red Sox trailed 5-1 entering the 8th inning, and David Ortiz got up with the bases loaded and, like he's done so many times before, hit a grand slam into the Red Sox bullpen to tie the game, and the Red Sox ended up going on to win the game, going on to ultimately capture the 2013 World Series. And like I said, just, I'd been to a lot of Red Sox playoff games before that, and, like I said, it was just, it's always fun to go to a playoff game for any sport, but especially the Red Sox, who are sort of my favorite team since I can remember. And to see that moment that now is sort of an iconic moment in Boston sports was just really, really special for me. And, it's something that I'll never, ever forget, among other things. The second one also comes to us from 2013, and it was just a couple days after the Boston Marathon bombing, which obviously was sort of a life-changing event for so many people in this city. And 2 days after, I actually went to the Bruins game, which was the first Boston sporting event since the tragedy, since the marathon bombing. And one of the really, really cool things that happened at that game was that all the fans prior to the game sang the national anthem like together as one. And it just sort of really showed the strength and solidarity of the people of Boston. You could just sort of feel the emotion, going through it, and it was again another one of those memories that you're never ever gonna forget, and will sort of be with you for the rest of your life. And to be able to be a part of it, like in the stands, witnessing that. It really just shows all the great things about humanity and about this city, and it was just something really special for me. My third memory was actually just back, not this past fall, but the fall before, fall of 2018. I actually got to cross a lifelong dream off my bucket list, and that was to attend a World Series game. My sister and I went to Game 1 of the Red Sox-Dodgers World Series in 2018, a game won by the Red Sox. We were so lucky that our mom and uncle sort of got together and surprised us with tickets to that game. It was a really, it's one of those things that you truly, a lot of times only, are lucky to just be able to experience once in your life. It's sort of one of those once in a lifetime things because you never know when it's going to happen again. First of all, you never know when the Red Sox are going to make a World Series again. But second of all, you never know when or if you're ever going to be able to go to a World Series game again. So to be able to be there and see a World Series game, like I said, for the first time in my life. And also to have the Red Sox win it. The Red Sox ended up winning that one.
Cherry on top.
Was amazing. Again, on their way to the 2018 World Series title. And actually, that was my first World Series parade that I had ever been to that year as well. The 2018 Red Sox World Series parade. And
nice.
So just a really, really, like I said, one of those bucket list things that I can now say that I have been to a World Series game, and I take a lot of pride in that. And
as you should.
All right, so my second to last one, as you guys know, I've lived in Wellesley my entire life. Kyle's originally from Wellesley. And obviously, I'm a big supporter of Wellesley sports at all levels. And this was a big decade for Wellesley sports at all levels, especially on the youth level. In this decade, Wellesley Little League won its first 2 state Little League baseball championships. The first in 2012 and the second in 2016. And I had the privilege of being able to be at both state championship victories for Wellesley South. In 2012, they won on a walk-off double in the bottom of the 6th to beat Acton Boxborough. And then in 2016, they beat Southborough. And on top of that, I also had the opportunity both years to go to the New England Regional Tournament, which is one step below Williamsport in Bristol, Connecticut. Unfortunately, when I went, the game that I tried to go to in 2012 was postponed due to rain. So I wasn't actually able to see a game that year. But in 2016, it was a beautiful night, and I was able to see them play their first regional game. And not only that, but they won it, which was the only game they won that year at the regionals. So, for me, that was just really special to sort of see your hometown team playing, in a tournament that you've been grown up, you're watching your entire life, and to see them win a game there, and to win, like I said, be able to be at both state championship victories was just something that I'll never forget, with all these memories. And then the last one, and I think I'm kind of saving the best for last year. In 2015, as we've probably talked about hundreds and hundreds of times on this show, the Wellesley High School football team had the opportunity to play their Thanksgiving game against Needham at Fenway Park.
That was 2015?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was 2016. Jeez.
That was 2015.
Oh, my, so fast.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And I had the opportunity not only to be at that game, but to announce that game from like the right field roof deck of Fenway Park, and just like, Fenway Park's a special place to me. I've been going there since I was 7 years old. I've been a huge Red Sox fan. I've seen so many different events and games and just special moments at that park. But to be able to like see your town's high school, like see your alma mater play a football game there against their arch rivals, very special rivalry, Thanksgiving Day. Even though they unfortunately lost that year, they lost 12-7. What was a thrilling game, by the way. It doesn't change the fact that it's just such a special memory to be able to be there and see them play there and to be able to announce it. So now, like forever, I have sort of myself calling a game at Fenway Park, and I think that that's, again, just something that I'm going to cherish for the rest of my life, and definitely will be something I tell my kids and my grandkids about down the road. And I just I was lucky enough to be able to do that, and definitely something that was very special to me, and I'm glad I got to experience it. So those are my five. Like I said, there were so many more that I could have sort of thrown in there, but I sort of cut it down to the five that were really, when I really think back over the last 10 years, were really really stand out for me. So now I'm gonna throw it over to my co-host here, Kyle. Kyle, why don't you give us your time memories from the decade that was in the 2010s?
Well, so that was this decade going by so fast. Yet there were so many great moments. I agree with you. It was hard to pick. I'm going to start. I think I'm going to start with the earliest memories that I have of the decade, sports-wise, and I'm going to have to go with. Okay, so my first two picks are going to be track related.
Okay.
This one I wanted to go a little more personal. I just kind of overall.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Like I wanted to go overall. I had such a great time. Just my general track experience was probably my first one.
And just this was in college.
In college, yeah. Because I did do track in high school. I did track from about, I think, 2004
we were definitely out of high school
08.
by the end of this decade.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, 04 to 08 is when I did track in high school, but then I did track in college from 08 to 11, actually. So I did have a lot of great years in college, and starting off in from the 2008-2009 season, and it just kept getting better every year. Honestly, that's where I met some of my best friends that I still keep in touch with nowadays. Actually, it was just overall it was a great experience. It was one experience where I don't think I could ever replicate it. It was so first off, it was I had my uncle as the head track coach for 3 years there, and that's kind of mind blowing when you think about it. You're like, wait, I'm related to this guy. It's just kind of like I've never had that. I don't think in any sports I've done before I've ever had any of my really family members coach, save for I think maybe once when my dad coached I think he coached one of my basketball teams. It was like one of the games or something like that back in when I was in elementary school. But this was like a 3-year coach, 3 years in track type of deal. And and honestly, I did throwing. For those of you who don't know, I was a big thrower, not a great thrower. But the thing is, in track, you really go and you really the main goal is like you really it's about your self improvement with your event. And I feel like this whole experience, I got to try so many events when it came to throwing. I got to try shot put, discus, which I already did in high school. Then I also got introduced to some new ones, which was the hammer throw and the weight throw, which were incredible. Oh my God, they were so great. And just kind of like, and I had such a great throwing coach too for those years. The first year I had, I only had this one coach for 1 year, and he was a great guy too. But I only had him 1 year, and then my last 2 years at track, I had this other coach who's also amazing. And it was just overall a great experience. I actually got the Coaches Award, the 2010 Coaches Award
there you go.
that year for winter track, which was, I've never gotten an award before, but there's a plaque at Wheaton that with my name on it. So
there you go.
It's it was pretty mind blowing. And I just felt like it was just an overall great experience, great people, great team to be around. I couldn't have honestly thought of a better sporting experience in college. I really couldn't have. Like I kind of miss doing track. Actually, I miss going out to the meets with all my teammates and everything. And it was great. It was a lot of fun. It really it wasn't just filling up time. It was just a grand experience, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna have to. That's probably my first pick.
Okay.
My second pick, which kind of like it's a little bit of an offshoot of this, was this one. This actually almost kind of set some wheels in motion, although I haven't really done anything about it. But so I one time we had this. So the track team volunteered at our indoor track. So we have an indoor track at Wheaton, the college I went to.
Right.
And they had like a YMCA kind of thing. It was like a YMCA day where all the younger kids like kind of came over and they did all the events. And it went from like I think 2 to 3 years old at the youngest to like maybe I don't know late elementary, middle school or something like that. But it was just kind of a life-changing experience for me because I don't know if you know now, I currently teach preschool.
Right.
And it kind of set a little bit one of my mental goals in life. I'd like to try to do a little bit of a track team with the preschoolers. I think that'd be kind of cool. So if I could find a way. So that kind of, just seeing that, I was like, oh, I can do that because when I was in college, I had always planned to be a teacher, but I had never realized that you can actually do track with younger kids. It's doable because I was always worried that if I was a teacher and I wouldn't be able to coach track with the 3-year-olds because you can't trust a 3-year-old with a shot put, right? Like why would you?
I think you barely run a straight line as much as I hate to say it.
Yeah, right.
Well, you're surprised because I work with a bunch of 3 and 4-year-olds, coaching baseball, and they actually they're more coordinated sometimes than you give them credit for.
Yeah,
so.
Definitely. So I don't know. Ever since that, that day, it was just like one Saturday. We spent like a couple hours there, just kind of volunteering, helping out. It was the cutest thing. Loved it, and it's kind of been a personal goal now. Now being a preschool teacher I've been working for like 7-8 years. I kind of would like to eventually maybe somehow coach or do something with like track, with that age group. I think that'd be really cool. So
there you go.
And speaking of coaching, actually, this is a nice segue into the third. Was I would also kind of group our Robbie and I's coaching season that we did with CYO, which was it was my second year of coaching basketball, CYO basketball. I've only done it twice, two seasons, I mean. So Robbie's he's done it a lot more than I have.
Yeah, that's the one nice thing about having younger sibling that likes basketball. I got to coach for a number of years, so
yeah, there you go.
But no, yeah, that was very special. Us coaching both the teams we coached here, but particularly that 2012-13 team that we coached. That was a lot of fun.
It was great. It was. I don't think I've ever had any life. I don't think I've had any experiences like that, in general. Like it's just you don't get the. Well, I mean, I haven't really fallen in line with coaching as much as Robbie had in the past. So it was kind of nice when Robbie actually contacted me and said, "Hey, do you want to coach another team this year?" I'm like, "Okay." So we coached them. They were a great group of kids.
Yeah.
I think they were older this time. They were like 13?
We had the cadets, so we had 13, 14s. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was different because I have no experience with like middle school kids, so I'm like, okay. But no, it was a great season. Aside from a little frustration off the Mass Pike in the first practice, it was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? I had to bring it up. I have to.
Yeah.
I'm talking about this.
It's sort of woven into. Yeah, for those you don't know, Kyle on his way to the first practice missed a turn twice. and ended up on the Mass Pike both times.
Two different directions.
Two different directions. And had to basically go up like an exit and turn around. He finally got to practice with about like 10 minutes to go in practice, but he did make it finally.
So basically the introduction I gave the kids where I was like, "Hi, I'm your coach. Don't mind my anger
and exhaustedness."
I'm just gonna fade in the corner. That's basically what happened.
Yeah.
They were probably like, "Okay, this guy's weird. This guy's crazy."
But you never miss that turn again. So there you go.
Everyone learns their own way, right?
Yeah.
So no, but in all seriousness, though, it was a great. It was a great season. I had such a great time with it, coaching with Robbie, and it was awesome. It was, and I would say number 4. These were a little trickier. I would have to say, so yeah, we're at number 4 and 5. There's been a lot of really cool. I mean, I would say going back to just in general, going to see like the football team again, like on Thanksgiving Day, and you go back after being graduated, and you go with a football jacket. I thought that was just a generally cool experience. And yeah, I definitely have to agree with you on the Fenway game as well. Going to that was just it's just nice to kind of go back to your football team that you've been playing there for 4 years for, and you kind of see them grow up, and you see them. You realize. I mean, you see yourself grow up, like compared to when you were in high school, and it's just it's just really cool. It's just really really great experience. You get to see all your old teammates, which is really nice too. So yeah, I had a really great time with that. And I would probably say my 5th one. I mean, man, best sporting experience. I'm a little trouble with the 5th one now.
You're doing so many things. Like
it's been a lot. It's I mean, I could go anywhere between like I would say actually one of the highlights was here's a good one. One of the highlights was back when I was working for my other school, my old school. This was back in 2016, so I had switched different buildings.
right.
And as a thank you, my regional director, nicest person by the way, incredible. She gave me tickets to see the Red Sox actually, and
Oh no way!
yeah, it was a nice little gift. And I went actually and took my dad to see that, and he was really happy because he doesn't go to the Red Sox a lot. He'll go sometimes with his friend, but it was like we hadn't gone. I don't think to the two of us hadn't gone since I can't even remember when. Like I think we may have gone to like a playoff game like the early 2000s or something like that, whatever. But it was just a nice treat. It was just really nice bringing him over, and we had such a great time at the game. I honestly can't even remember whether they won or lost, but it was just the experience itself was just it was a lot of fun.
Sometimes it really doesn't matter if you win or lose. It's more about just like the memories of being there, and like just getting to witness sort of that type of environment.
Yeah,
I agree.
Exactly. It was just nice being there with my dad, and he and I we just had such a blast. It was a good time.
Nice.
So
that's great. Some great moments there.
Thank you.
I think. Yeah, and again, there's so many that you could go with.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's like,
well, I had to choose because they were like, I was almost thinking about like the Montreal Canadiens game that we went to.
Yeah, or like you've been to Patriots games.
That was the one else I wanted to mention too. Just as a quick little, I mean, I don't know if I even call it. I'm going to put number 6 here, just because this was such a game changing one for me. Was with my family. So we started this tradition where either pre-New Year's or pre-Christmas, we go to one of the Pats games. So we reserve like just these like random, just these completely random. It was like this. What do you call them? The balcony area.
Nosebleeds.
The nosebleeds.
Whatever, yeah.
We just reserved like the cheapest nosebleeds tickets, and we just kind of made an event where we'd meet up. We do some tailgating. We did some barbecuing before the games. And even we've been through the bitterest of colds, the rainiest of rains. and even some surprisingly warm days, believe it or not. And we just had such a blast. It was just, we just kind of made this tradition with our family. So I think that's definitely, actually, I'd put that really high in the list. Like, it was incredible. Like, just going to see the games with all my cousins, and it's amazing. Like, one year we actually dressed up as Santa Claus. We all just kind of threw on some Santa suits. And,
of course. That's really cool. And I think we'll sort of get into one particular Patriots game that you've been to a little bit more coming up here shortly. But first I want to do is I do want to move on to our fantasy football recap, because the fantasy football season is coming to an end. It actually officially came to an end for me this past weekend, and our league I was already done in my other league, but I know Kyle had a much bigger game than I did this past weekend. Actually has one more game remaining, so I'm just going to start off with quickly, because I was actually playing in the 11th place game this past weekend. Again, my last game officially of the 2019 fantasy football season. And I actually finished on a high note. I finished with a victory.
Good.
I won 100.16 to 59.46. So I captured 11th place in my league.
It's okay.
Jacoby Brissett had a big game for me. He had 14 points. Alvin Kamara had 23. Melvin Gordon had 16.
Kamara, he's so good.
And the Indianapolis defense, they kicked butt. They had 30 points in my victory. Nice. So, I finished 11th place, like I said, and already looking forward to next year. So, let me toss over to Kyle, because I know you had a very big game this past weekend, and then you've got one more game for yourself coming up this week. So.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. Actually, so hold on, I gotta get this app working the right way.
Work, you stupid app, work.
You have to work now.
Come on.
So semi-final, yeah, we'll see. I don't even think I played this person throughout the year. I don't even remember the team name. It's whatever. This was a tough game. I'm not gonna lie. This person has a really, really good team. They're called Relax. I played them before, and I think I lost to them before as well. They're really good. Whoever you are, you're amazing. I have a lot of respect for your players. You guys scored big. Mainly two of your players, I think. Fitzpatrick and Barkley just knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, Barkley had a big game on Sunday. I know. Yeah. So.
My God, I was looking at the score. I'm like, no. Oh, no. Don't
do
so
Barkley,
well. No, stop doing amazingly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I ended up losing 98 to 112, which is pretty close. I ended up, Winston did all right. Jameis Winston, he got 15 points. Diggs did all right. And then, of course, A.J. Brown, he got about 14 points. Mac got 16. Chubb. What happened to Chubb this game? What happened? He was supposed to score 12 points. He was one of my top players.
Chubb struggled.
Oh.
I was watching Chubb's game on Sunday. Chubb didn't do that great.
No. He only gave me 4 points. And he's been like one of my best players throughout the season. But, oh, my God. It was... Anyways, that's all right.
Chubb.
Winston lose him. Then, of course, Jared Cook. Jared Cook, my God, this guy's... I think he's gotten so much better as a tight end throughout the season. He's just been scoring killer games, and I think he had the best game of the whole season where he scored 20 points. And yeah, the rest of the teams did all right. Tucker did as usual, pretty solid for a kicker. So, yeah, it was just one of those games. Hey, it was out of my power. I don't think I was able to win either way. So even with the people I had benched, I wouldn't have won. So good game, Relax. You're on to the finals now. So,
but you are going to be playing for third place, though.
Oh, that's
so
my God!
You're going to have
a
chance to end on a high note. So, obviously, I wish you nothing but the best in that, and definitely the next time we get together, we will be recapping Kyle's third place game to sort of round out our. Fantasy football recaps for this year.
It'll be the final episode or the final segment of that.
Right. But what I do want to go into now is Robbie's favorite football recap. obviously, nothing to report on the Boston College front. They are still preparing for their bowl game January 2nd against Cincinnati. So I will obviously have a recap of that when it actually happens, probably on the next episode.
There you go.
But as we were talking about just moments ago, the Patriots did have a big game on Saturday. I have to keep remembering that it was a Saturday game this past week against the Bills, and they were victorious in a very, very exciting down to the wire game. And I'm in just a moment actually going to turn it over to Kyle because he was at the game to give us sort of his breakdown there, but I didn't want to say that the that the Patriots do have one more game left in the regular season, which will be Sunday afternoon against the Miami Dolphins. And if the Patriots win, they will clinch another first-round bye in the upcoming playoffs, and will. So they should win. They beat the Dolphins handily the first time around, so hopefully they can make it 2 for 2 and wrap up the bye, and then they'll go into the postseason once again. But I would like to turn it over here to my good friend Kyle for a little of his own Patriots recap, seeing the fact that he was at the game this past Saturday. Kyle, take it away.
It was a great game. It was so much fun to watch. One of the best games I think we've been to so far. It was first of all, the weather was pretty solid. It was a little chilly, but honestly not that bad. It was doable. You get yourself a warm enough coat and you'll be fine. It was a great game. The Bills scored a little bit, but the Pats really were victorious in this one. They really knocked it out of the park.
If I remember, it came kind of down to the end. The Patriots had to score kind of late to win the game.
Oh, that's right, they did. Yeah. It was I did. Well, the thing is, I did actually have to go home about halfway into the game. That's the only unfortunate part because part of our party was feeling a little tired, so we were just like, because we spent so much time like hanging out with my family in the morning and everything, and by the time the halftime hit, it hit me so hard. I was like, oh my god! I came back home at 8 o'clock or 9, whatever, and I passed out on the couch because it was just so. Oh my god! It was exhausting for some reason. I just couldn't make it through the whole game. But no, it was a great time though.
Weak.
It was
weak.
Yeah. Well,
weak.
If you knew what happened, Robbie, you understand.
Sorry, no, I'm just messing with you.
No,
at least you were there and it sounds like you enjoyed it. So
my god, it was a great time. It was an incredible game. We were just in the nosebleeds once again, and it was just fun seeing.
At least they won the game that you went to over 2 weeks ago, and they lost to the freaking Chiefs.
Oh yeah.
When I was there.
Ooh.
Damn you, Patriots! That's all right. Anyway, continue. Rant over.
No, it was just great. It was great atmosphere. The fans were pretty pumped up. I always like going that time of year, anyways. Like right before Christmas. I just think it's a great time to go before, before all the festivities begin. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So
nice. Well, thank you for that
pretty
little
good.
rundown. So before we go, I would just like to take this opportunity on behalf of Kyle and myself to wish everybody out there a very safe and happy New Year. No matter where you are, no matter who you're celebrating with, no matter where, like I said, where or how you're ringing in the New Year. I hope that 2020 and the start of a new decade is very positive for all of you, and we're very excited because we're definitely going to be coming back after the new year with some more exciting new episodes here of On the Couch Talking Sports. So we will be ringing in this new decade in style, and like I said, just hope everybody had a great holidays, and hope everybody has a great new year, and we will see you again in 2020. So, for the last time in 2019, we're going to sign off from the couch. He's Kyle. I'm Robbie, signing off again. Happy New Year, everybody, and we'll see you next year. So long.